very interesting question for you. Why are your parents your parents? Why were you born into this specific family? Is it by chance, coincidence, or was it planned? Was it arranged? Was it arranged by the universe? Was it arranged by God? And it's these sort of questions that come up. Have you ever wondered why you're born into your family? I mean, sometimes we have such clashes with our family. I remember going through my childhood and my parents saying to me, why can't you just be like everyone else? In fact, in my adulthood as well. Why can't you dress like everyone else? Why can't you eat like everyone else? Why can't you do the normal things in life? Mum, Dad, because I'm me. I'm me, I'm me, I'm me. And it's very, very, very interesting. And for you, do you have anything like that? Have you experienced anything like that? Have you ever questioned why your brothers and your sisters are there in your life? Why your parents are there? Why your cousins, your aunties, your uncle, your grandparents? And it's an interesting question. Does things happen by chance? Is there any importance? It may not even be important. Or is there something behind it all? I believe there's something very, very deep and very powerful and very divine behind it all. You see, I'm reading Bhagavad-gītā, chapter 6, verse 42 today. And in this verse, the Lord is explaining to us that when we leave our body and we come back into a new material body at the end of this life, some of us will come back into a transcendental or spiritual family. Not many of us, but some of us will. And this is a very, very important stage in life because this is progression. It is evolution. But everyone sees evolution as slightly differently. Most people think of evolution as, well, we came from a very simple form of life, then into animal life, into monkey life, eventually into human life. But what I'm talking about is something completely different. I'm talking about reincarnation. I'm talking about actually we lived in a body prior to this, and many bodies prior to this. Many, 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 many. But what is the point and purpose of going through this cycle of birth and death and birth and death? I mean, some people don't realise it, and therefore they think, oh, I only exist now, and after this life I disappear, and there was nothing before. But I can't actually fathom that, because there always has to be something before. There's always something before and there's something afterwards. We can't just exist by chance. Do you feel you exist by chance? Is it coincidence? Is it totally random? Or is there some depth to what I'm trying to say? The Bhagavad-gītā teaches us so much. It teaches us simple things about how life functions, how it's created, how we exist and why we exist in this moment in time. So let's explore it a little bit more. I believe, based on Krishna consciousness, that we had a previous life. And in that previous life, we studied. But we didn't study hard enough. We didn't graduate. We didn't learn enough. And therefore, we're still caught up in this cycle of birth and death and birth and death and birth and death. But is there something more than just this cycle of birth and death? Yes, there is. It serves a very beautiful purpose. You see, we've been going through this cycle of birth and death and birth and death for so many births. So many births. And at the end of each life, based on our karma, as in what we did in our life and our desires, we're born into a new family. But why were we born into this family? And that's the question mark. You see, nothing happens by chance. Everything is arranged, and arranged by the Lord. You see, the Lord, based on my past life and your past life, specifically chose our parents. He's a matchmaker. He wanted specific family for us. because life is evolution, it's a continuum. So whatever we learned in our previous life, we bring with us, and then we have the opportunity to develop those skills. And that's why from a very young age you're very good at certain things and very weak at other things, because in your previous lives you were doing those sort of techniques or skills. That's why we hear stories of very famous people like Mozart, the classical musician, who at the age of 5 years old was writing classical music beyond everyone's comprehension that would normally take 50 years to write, but he was writing when he was 5 years old. So we have certain skills that were brought from our previous life, and therefore Lord Kṛṣṇa has arranged for us to be born into a specific family with these specific parents and our brothers and our sisters, our cousins, our aunties, our uncles and our grandparents and everyone else, because they're all our teachers. Now, we don't always like to acknowledge they're our teachers, because so often our parents and our families are the ones who aggravate us, but they're trying to teach us something. But the beauty about it is not only are they our teachers, we're their teachers. Yes, we're their teachers as well. It works both sides. Everyone is a student, everyone is a teacher in life. And this is why Lord Kṛṣṇa has brought us into a specific family, because we had certain things to learn from them. And sometimes we don't want to hear it, but they know us so well that they know sometimes how they can try and help us. But no, as we are stubborn, we always try to do it just our way and only our way. It doesn't mean that everything they say and what you do is necessarily the right thing for you, but there is a reason why you're born here. You're born into this family for a specific reason. And it's no different to any other aspect of your life or time of your life, whether it's your childhood, whether it's a teenager, your adulthood, getting married, having children, doing work. Everything has been planned and arranged because the Lord wants to give us the opportunity to become a better version of ourselves and evolve. And the more we evolve, the more we purify ourselves, the more we detoxify ourselves and decontaminate us from our past and our past lives, the more we move forward with our lives, and the more we get closer to the point where maybe we can transcend into the spiritual world and join the Lord. And that's the beauty. He's preparing us, he's training us, but this is a lifelong journey. It's not even just about one life, it's multiple lives. But the key thing here is, and what the Lord is explaining to in the Bhagavad-gītā, is that at a certain point, when we have cleansed ourselves, purified and detoxified ourselves, we will be given this opportunity to transcend into the higher spiritual planets, where we don't have to come back to this mundane and material world. But you can't target that. You can't set that as your objective or your goal, because if that is your objective, your goal, then we're doing something for our own need. But what the Lord is trying to teach us this is, as we evolve, as we start to learn, we start to cleanse ourselves, He's just helping us and guiding us and guiding us and teaching us. And the more He guides us, the more He teaches us, the more we need to start to realize that everything is by design, everything by His arrangement. And He is the absolute truth. And with that knowledge and that awareness, the more we start to serve the Lord, the more He cleanses us and purifies us. It's no different, and I'll use this, and the same analogy I keep on using it is, if you take your whole life experience and your previous life's experience, empty yourself out into a bowl, it will be all full of grime. And that's what's inside us, lots of grime and grit. It's all dirty, it's contaminated, it's toxic. But if you leave it to sit in that bowl, it's just going to just ferment and ferment and ferment, which is what it's doing inside us anyway. But the moment we start to put some clean water into that bowl, slowly but surely it will start to get clearer and clearer. And this is what happens when we serve the Lord, by chanting His name, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We read His name, we listen to His name, we talk about Him. We make Him the center of our life. And the more we go through this cleaning and process and cleansing and detoxifying, the more we get closer and closer to that point that maybe we will get to that liberation where we can transcend away from this material world and the cycle of birth and death. But we have to allow the Lord to guide us at the pace that is required by us as individuals, and not to be compared with anyone else. And this is really, 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 really important to understand. Everything has to happen by his arrangement. The moment is about me, I, what I want to do, how I want to achieve it. That's where it all goes completely wrong. We have to totally surrender ourselves, saranagati, surrender ourselves to the Lord's arrangement. He's got our whole life planned out. Everything that's got to happen, everything that needs to happen, will happen if we follow the path that he's taking us on. And this is the so important aspect of what we're doing. And then